Welcome to the Hope Mission Spring Banquet. Thanks for joining us. My name is Kelly Rowe, and I'll be your host for the evening. We're so glad that you're joining us virtually tonight. What a year. Just like you, we were faced with so much uncertainty last year when COVID-19 hit. We had no idea what to expect. We even had to cancel our spring banquet last year at the last minute when it wasn't safe to gather together. We were worried for the men, women, kids, and families, and the youth that we serve, knowing that many of them would be extra vulnerable within the context of a pandemic. And here we are tonight to say thank you. COVID-19 changed everything for us, but because of you, we were able to continue to help men, women, youth, and children across the province. There's so many ways that God was faithful to us throughout 2020, and some of the ways that became tangible to us was through the overwhelming kindness of our community donors. We're so thankful for your support, and we have been absolutely amazed by the ways that your compassion has transformed lives. We have some incredible stories lined up for you tonight, and we're so excited to share them with you. We'll be starting with the stories about hope, forgiveness, freedom from addiction, food and support for hungry families, and a special never before seen look inside the brand new Herb Jameson Center. You're going to want to grab a Kleenex box. I know I'm going to need some tissue. Things are going to get a little bit emotional tonight as we reflect on 2020. The efforts of the pandemic were felt in all our programs, but one team that had a unique experience were the 24/7 rescue vans. In a typical year, the rescue vans will respond to crisis diversion calls, roam the streets, doing outreach, and provide transportation to shelters for people in need. But when COVID-19 hit the inner city community last year, they were asked to courageously step into a new role. Let's take a look.
Here at Hope Mission, we always say that hope begins with a meal. Sometimes the first introduction we have to a person's life is handing them a bag of lunch. And then it gives us a moment and a platform to ask how their day is, and often those conversations lead to much deeper conversations about where their life is at and some of the challenges they could be facing.
There's one person we meet regularly on the streets. Because of his mental health, he cannot go anywhere. And he remembers every encounter with us. I asked him the other day, why do you remember us so well? He remembers the words that we said a year ago. And he's saying, because I don't have anything else. You guys are the only meaningful encounters that I get.
The rescue van started in the early 2000s. We were approached by Alberta Health Services. They asked for our help to respond to some calls that we'd be equipped to help with. They would go and medically assess the person, see that they are vulnerable but medically sound. And so they would call us and we could bring them to shelters or a place where they can detox. We equip our vans with clothing, hygiene products, warm clothes, toques, mitts, gloves, hand warmers. We have food, we have water, things like that. And in between crisis diversion calls, we roam the streets looking for people staying in alleyways and those types of things. Using the things that we have on the van as a way of building relationship and creating a connecting point. One thing we knew with the COVID situation is that we do serve a lot of people with compromised immune systems, and so that it could be very dangerous for the population that we serve. We were really worried how we could play a part in protecting people, and really took that seriously. There was just so much happening so fast. We were implementing so many new procedures and policies to keep each other safe, and it definitely, we were so prepared earlier in the spring, and then you kind of like, oh, is this ever going to happen? And it hit hard.
We had to transport a lot of people to isolation places, and sometimes they were scared of dying, so we would pray with them and reassure. And I remember just saying see you later to people, so just to give them that hope.
We essentially were the only people transporting people experiencing homelessness who had that situation that needed to go to isolation. All of this while we're still trying to do crisis diversion, getting our regular calls, and all of this while we're still wanting to maintain our relationships with the people on the street. God blessed us with the opportunity to move from 3 teams on the road in 24 hours to 5 teams on the road. And we really had to pray hard that we would find the right people to fill those positions. God bless us with some really great people with really great hearts who were very capable and learned really quickly. We were able to help keep people safe while still managing the COVID calls, and God's been really faithful throughout this year. And just knowing that the community is behind the work we're doing is a super encouragement to our staff and to me. All of the things that we use to build relationship with people, the warm jackets, the socks, all of that stuff comes from donation. And this is a year where we've seen really where people have had to, you see the challenges in grocery stores and toilet paper, and people are really trying to be protective. But we've seen the opposite here at Hope Mission in terms of the generosity.
We're thanked every day, like hundreds of times. People come to our van and they thank you so much. So I just want to pass it on because we have the privilege to be thanked. We have the privilege to be on the front lines. But this is a work of so many people, of so many who contributed to this. So I just want to pass those thank yous to people who really contributed by their, again, donations, their prayers, their hard work in different departments, and all sorts of help. It is really life-changing. It makes a big difference.
What an amazing part of our ministry. It's one thing to have the soup kitchen and the shelters that people can come to us, but to be mobile and to be able to go out into the streets and have an impact, especially during this season, and helping the most vulnerable, Edmontonians, it's been awesome to see. And again, without your help and your support, none of this would be possible. Those people would be left out on their own without the support of Hope Mission. So you can tell from the stories just how grateful we are just to have you on board as donors. It really touches our hearts. Now, with the situation that changed all the time and new needs presenting in the community every day, we had to adapt quickly and often during this last year. And that's why we launched something brand new last year that's going to change the way we work with children and families from now on. At Hope Mission, we believe that hope begins with a meal. It's the first step for us into building those important relationships. And another challenge of COVID-19 that we saw almost immediately that was food was going to be much more difficult to access for many of the families we serve across the province. We quickly pivoted our children's programs into providing food hampers for families who needed that extra support. The new way of serving the community has given us an opportunity to work with families in ways that we never had before. It has completely transformed our relationships with the families as a whole, and especially the parents. And your generosity made it possible.
So Hope Mission's preventative programs have been providing after-school programs, school meals, and supports to children and youth for the past 25 years. We have teams that are working in Edmonton, Wetaskiwin, Red Deer, and Calgary. And this past year, we were all set up running our Kids in Actions program, doing school lunches and our drop-in activities, running skateboarding in our skate park. And things really changed for us on March 16th when schools went online and we were no longer able to run our in-person programs. One of the things that I remember talking about with the teams is we may be shut in, but we're not shut down. And we knew that there still would be opportunities to serve, strengthen, and uplift. We knew that through our school lunches and our after-school programs, we were providing thousands of meals a week, and we wanted to make sure that these kids and these youth were still getting the nutrition that they needed while they were at home and a little bit more isolated from some of the supports that they might get in the school setting or through our programs. And we started getting calls from, in Edmonton, it was about 10 different schools that were calling us, and in Wetaskiwin, we were working with the school board to bring meals, to bring food hampers, and to just get out there into the community. While kids and youth couldn't come to us, we knew that we could get out to them. And so we turned our skate park into basically a big food depot, and one of the challenges we faced at the beginning was even just getting the food that we needed to get to families, as a lot of our suppliers were also struggling with shortages and just increased demand of certain items. But we were able to get a good supply and then coordinate a standard hamper that would provide canned items, dry good items like pasta, rice, soup, vegetables, all that sort of thing, and then some fresh items as well, like vegetables, potatoes, dairy products like milk and butter and yogurt, and then be able to drive that out to families each week. Since March 2020, we've been able to deliver over 6,700 food hampers and frozen meals to families across the province. And it's been over 1,300 unique families that we've connected with. So for some of those families, it was just a one-time, they just needed to get a little bit of support until the next month, and then for others it's been an ongoing delivery where we've been building a relationship with them. Our staff are calling them each week to ask how they're doing, and then setting up our route where we can deliver food to them. There was just a lot of fear and worry, and we were able to just bring hope and light and just the, hey, we don't know what the future holds, but we know the one in whom our hope is placed. We know Jesus, and it's going to be okay, and we can bring peace and light into those situations.
It's really helped me and my family, and we are very grateful to our Hope Mission for that such support.
They do wonders with what they can do with kids. They help a lot, and they're actually helping us become a better family.
You know, it feels good somebody's there for me. Not only me, but my boys especially. This place offers hope.
It's just been so encouraging for us to know that the Hope Mission donor community is coming alongside us and supporting us in that work. And when I think with COVID, a lot of people feel isolated and discouraged, we've been so encouraged by just the generosity of each and every donor that has helped to make our food hamper program possible, and just for us to be able to continue to have our doors open to providing supports to children, youth, and families. We've really seen God just opening new doors and new opportunities, and we think it's just really building a strong foundation for what's to come. And as things open up more and more, we just think that God's going to continue to open more doors and opportunities for us to come alongside children, youth, and families in our province.
Wow, it's amazing. You know, I work down in the Calgary branch where we service those families that you're seeing at those doorsteps, and it's been amazing just to watch families we've never met before, never met the family, the kids, and to see just the reaction when we bring that food hamper, when the cupboards might have been bare. You know, and you put so much food, your donations put so much food in needy families' cupboards, and it's really been a blessing. We've just seen so much happen. So many new families we're connected to. We're excited to see what the fruit of this will be as more and more of these kids come to our summer camps and take part in our programs, and we get to know these families in a greater way. So thank you again. We can't say enough about being able to get out in the community and connect with the most needy families in 5 cities across Alberta. You know, one of the best things about the Spring Banquet, you'll know, is our recovery programs. This evening we have the opportunity to celebrate with the graduates of those recovery programs, both men's and women's. Although we aren't able to watch them walk across the stage in person at our banquet like we usually do, we can still hear some of their stories and celebrate the achievements with them tonight. Our Recovery Women's program is called Wellspring. It's a year-long faith-based program to help women caught in addiction and to provide that freedom and hope. Our first Wellspring testimony tonight comes from Charity. And just as we heard earlier tonight about the importance of food support and relationships built through that system of food support with families, Charity knows firsthand how much a hot meal can mean to someone who is struggling.
It's just really difficult being on the street. It's hard on your body, it's hard on your mind. During the day, mostly walking around. So I was alone a lot. I was always on my own. When I was 16 years old, I started to use drugs. I ended up getting pregnant. I got clean for a while, and then I ended up using again. You don't ever have a place to be. You don't have a place to go. Well, there is places to go, like the Hope Mission. They give you clothes and stuff that you need if you wanted to lay down or take a shower. The Hope Mission was the place to go. It's very humbling to get that hot meal. Everybody there is really nice. You could be down that day and just go to the Hope Mission and feel loved. I got clean 3 years ago. The Hope Mission was a really big part in that. I was sure I wanted to do the program, but I was scared also. Do a year-long program. It was out of the norm for me, but I knew that I couldn't do it on my own. I needed help. I liked the chapel we had every morning. Everyone come together, pray. They take you in and you're like family. I have a really close relationship with my counselor. I learned that I was a lot stronger than I thought I was. After Wellsprings, you come here. It's Edwardson Place, and it's like a transitioning home, and you could stay here for 3 years. I'm excited to get my own place and start a new chapter.
Well, it's amazing to have that story right after the families, that we serve. You can see, how young some of the problems start in a person's life in addiction. It's a long road. And that's why Hope Mission, the steady support we provide, the meals every day, the shelter beds. You never know when someone's going to hit the end of that long road and want the help and reach out and open their hearts to God. And the stories of transformation we get to see are amazing. And we just want to make sure we share that with you. Without you, again, it wouldn't be possible, to be able to provide that support year-round, and not just the beds and the shelter, but the food and the counseling, the whole works. It really makes a difference, and we look forward to sharing a few more stories here. Our men's recovery program is called Breakout. Using the same structure as the Wellspring program, men in Breakout are finding freedom as well from addiction. One of our Breakout grads, Miguel, knows what it's like to be hungry too. And he has a special message of thanks for you, the donors, and the impact you've had on his life.
59 years ago, I was born in Spain from a deeply rooted Christian family. Grew up during my youth. The use of alcohol and tobacco was very common. I served in the army, just like the males in my family. At age 23, I came to Canada. I went to college, became a heavy-duty agricultural mechanic. I wanted to be a farmer, met my wife, and by 1989, my son was born. That changed my life, of course, having children of my own. I had a good set of values set upon me, but that was lived shortly. I separated, saw my son for many, many years on weekends only. Things began to go really bad due to my heavy drinking and drugging. I left a big scar, huge. When I am in pain, I drink like a fish. And I became homeless for 3.5 years. Hunger becomes a true menace. When a person is so hungry that is capable of eating leaves from a tree. I had a cart where I pushed with everything that I own, hoping that I didn't get mugged or stabbed. And I slept on garbage bins until somebody got crushed in one of them. The Hope Mission. And it became home when I lost my own. And it became a landmark in Edmonton where anyone who had nowhere to go is always been the Hope Mission. The one thing is for sure, anybody who requires a meal to spend some time in the line, get to know other people or that are going through the same, it kind of makes me feel I'm not alone. And not being alone is very important. I'm not the only one. I think these meals, more than feed me, they rescue me. And that's very important. The program that planted a seed, hunger for recall, hunger for not liking to live a lifestyle that destroyed me, and the Hope Mission stand up for me. The grace that Breakout gives, very, very important. 99% of the programs out there has a no grace policy, zero tolerance. I had a 10-year period away from recovery, away from everything, living well, until I began to drink again. I need help. Came to downtown, go see Benny, and talking to him, I felt a relief when he said, just get in. Breakout has grace, just like Jesus. And that grace is a life-changing experience. The program is not just the classes. The program is the brotherhood. The Hope Mission has become my family. When I'm in distress, when I'm in pain, I know I have family that I can go. Helping this community that I was a part of once. Working for the homeless community is a privilege. I've seen what goodwill can do, mostly in recovery. The donor has the ability to change other people's lives forever. What he puts in is huge. It changes people's lives forever, not just one time. The breakout is there as many times as required. Their commitment to help us help ourselves through their donations is probably the greatest personal achievement. Just being generous changes other people's lives.
You're changing lives. You're helping us, support us in that transformational lives. You know, you never know where a person's going to be coming from when they come to Hope Mission's doors. You don't know their background story, but that relationship begins to build, and like Miguel, many people can open up and frankly just share their story. Because it's true, we become family. You know, and you're part of this family. We're building families and people back their lives, getting them their lives back, and it's all because of the donations and the support and the prayer warriors and the volunteers that come and join us as part of the family of Hope Mission to help people. So it's awesome, you know, to hear just the great stories like Miguel's. Well, you know, we always believe since 1929, hope begins with a meal. But another urgent need that your compassion supports is shelter. Even when following spacing regulations due to COVID-19, we were still able to provide shelter to hundreds of people every night. And one of the most incredible ways that we saw God's faithfulness last year was in the rebuilding of the Herb Jameson Center. The old Herb Jameson Center was just that, old. It was a crumbling building. It wasn't wheelchair accessible for the most vulnerable people. It had blind spots and corners, endangering staff and the people who would stay with us overnight. We knew we needed a new space that was specifically created to serve people with dignity. And we knew that we couldn't do it alone. We turned to you, our amazing community of support, and asked you for something huge. We asked you to consider matching the government's commitment of $8 million. We knew it was a big ask, but we also knew that there would be others who would see how important it is to provide shelter to those in need. We were absolutely blown away by your generosity. Many of you tuning in tonight gave a gift towards this very project, joining over 4,500 others to provide safe, warm shelter. We're so humbled by the response and so grateful for your outpouring of love and compassion. This has been a dream of the mission for a long time, and now it's finally nearing completion. So exciting. A few years ago, you might remember at our annual spring banquet, our executive director, Bruce Reith, shared the plans for the new Herb Jamieson Center, a space that would be safe for both our community and our staff, a space that would be accessible to those with low mobility, a space where our 24/7 rescue vans could bring intoxicated people right inside the building without having to walk outside in the cold of winter, where anyone who needed help could come inside and rest, take a shower, do their laundry, visit the nursing station. And now today, we're almost done. I took a tour of the Herb Jamieson Center myself recently so that you could see inside and join us in the excitement for this new building. Let's take a look at that new center. Well, here we are at the construction site for the new Herb Jamieson Center. What an exciting year we've had during COVID, building such a magnificent project, the largest project in Hope Mission history, actually. So if you can picture the old Herb Jamieson, it's gone. This is the exact same site, and here we are at the new Herb Jamieson. And we even kept some of the brickwork, some of these red bricks over here, actually off the old Herb Jamieson building. So it's kind of like the foundation of this project, of course, is Jesus. He's the cornerstone, but then the bricks are all the people that have gotten involved at Hope Mission over the 90+ years, building one brick neatly together until we have a project of this magnitude. Couldn't have done it without you. I mean, the donors that helped provide for this building, we'll be forever grateful for them. Let's take a look a bit inside. And here you have the main kind of reception area. Low mobility access. Before the Herb Jamieson, a set of stairs right inside the doors, no more. People can wheel in on their wheelchairs, come in on their walkers, their canes, and come right up to reception area and check in for their bed for the night, and nurses' stations and more. And of course, all our services here in this building will be 24/7. We'll be continuing our 24/7 shelter model. Laundry during the day, showers. Now this area is a staff area where they can monitor in between the low mobility area and also the intox area. So this is all on the main floor. And here we are inside the 24/7 rescue van bay. You can see the big garage door. They can pull the rescue van right inside and help people out in the comfort of the indoor heated space. And then from there we check in and get into the intox. As you can see, wide open space. So many things are still under construction, but every day things change. We've got lots of tiling going up, a full shower area, bathroom facilities. So compared to where we were a few months ago to where we're going to be a few months from now, it's just amazing. So now we've moved up to the second floor to our main shelter space. You can envision stairs coming up to the second floor here. And then as we move through, as you can see, lots of construction still going on. This is a check-in point, so people will register, staff in this area. And then you walk into a wide open concept shelter space. If we look down the middle portion, you can see right through into the second half of the shelter, but also this middle portion is where the staff, so they'll have windows along the entire shelter space to be able to keep an eye on everybody and make sure of the safety, because we always want to make sure the safety is priority one. It all starts over often with a meal. Hope Mission began with a meal in the soup kitchen 90+ years ago. Over there they meet for their meals daily. Here, this building, main shelter space for men, right? But in these areas of shelter and feeding, we often get them started on that recovery road, our own detox area, and then off to Immigration Hall. And that's where the recovery program's housed. So we've got the full continuum of care, and we couldn't do this without you. Without your support, none of this would be possible. Just again, I can't get over it what God's done through COVID, through the support of our donors, over 4,500 people making donations to this very building. And now here we are in the middle of downtown Edmonton with our footprint down and able to take it to the next level. Quality care, quality facilities, and it's all due to our quality donors. Thank you for your partnership. You know, we can't say enough about what you do for us, so we can do this for the most vulnerable people in our city. What an amazing building. What an amazing story to be rebuild and build a building, you know, right during COVID. Only God could do such a thing. The new Herb Jameson Center is going to be an incredible place for men experiencing homelessness. It'll be a safe haven for men like Kane, our next graduate from the Breakout program, who wanted to share his story of hope and forgiveness with us.
Used to work a big job, oil field operator in a waste facility. I made lots of money and I started to do some drugs. The girlfriend I was dating kept bugging me to read my Bible and throwing it in my face, so I said, you know what? I'm going to read more of this Bible and know more about it than she ever will, and I'll throw it right back in her face. But by the time I got finished Matthew, when I heard that Jesus died for my sins on that cross, I fell to my knees. I was driving in a car with thunder and lightning. I got on my knees outside. I asked God for forgiveness. I was crying, you know. I was very grateful that He did that for me, and it really, really touched my heart. But I just fell out. I still believed in God, but I did not follow Him. It just led to a lot of drugs, a lot of partying, and a lot of guilt. And that's how I found myself at the Hope Mission finally. As we were driving along the Hope Mission building, I seen a bunch of homeless people looking really rough shape. My sister looked at me and she said, "Are you sure you want to go here?" A nice old lady got me in. She was very kind to me. And she said, even if you relapse, you will be forgiven and you'll still be able to be in the program. That really shocked me. She said, well, we're a Christian program and Christians they forgive, so we like to be a forgiving program. And that's what really hooked me. That's what's so awesome about it is I think when people find God, it helps them more than anything. This place is an awesome place to be around if you're hurting. I definitely needed this program when I came here. If I didn't have this program, I would probably still be doing drugs. I would not be with my children at all. I might even be dead. Jesus forgives me for all the things that I've done. That was a big thing on me. To know that other people care. You definitely change your life around and you try to be better because you know that your life matters to them too.
Wow, powerful story. That encounter with God, you know, falling to his knees in the pouring rain. You know what it said sometimes starts there, but the work of Hope Mission to walk with people, you know, once they've met God, but to now establish themselves in God. It's really important, and it's why we have our doors open every day, 24/7, even in some of our shelters. Our final story tonight is from a woman named Val. It's powerful. It's heartbreaking. And as you listen, I hope you feel the true impact of your compassion and generosity. Your kindness is truly transforming lives.
You know how your mother is always supposed to tell you, oh, I love you and stuff like that? When you don't have someone around to tell you that, you don't really believe it. Both my parents were addicts. A lot of abuse in my home. So I never got to be a child. And I've seen a lot of things a child shouldn't have seen. At the age of 6, I got apprehended. I was in pretty much every group home in Edmonton. I wanted to go home to my mom, so I did whatever I could to not stay in the group home, right? And then when I was 9 years old, my mom finally got me back. And then when I came home one day and the social worker was home, she said, your mom signed you over PGO. My mom doesn't want me, nobody wants me. At 14, I kind of was on my own from there, like on the streets. Feeling of abandonment led me to criminal activity and use with drugs and stuff. When I was in jail, I went to a chapel, and this lady, Kathy, she was speaking in jail. And she said, God saves those who are most broken and most lost in spirit. My whole life I was built on survival. I had to play this role of, I'm so tough, I'm so strong, you can't do anything to hurt me, right? I'm so broken right now and I'm so lost in spirit. Like if God saves those people, then God can save me. I swear that day when she said that is the day that I felt like I was gonna be saved, because that is what I felt was missing. Because that's what I was always searching for, was someone to save me. She gave me a Bible and I started to read it every night in jail. And when I was in jail, that's when I heard about the Wellsprings program. So when I left jail, my mom, she drove me to the Wellsprings program and I did my intake and they let me in. I found that learning to believe in God, that's what made me stronger. And yeah, there's a lot of good classes there that helped me share and heal a lot of things that I kept hidden inside myself for a long time. I've tried treatment before many times and it never worked. If it wasn't for the community, then the program wouldn't be a program. We did like an hour of worship, and then after that we'll break out into our morning group. They do like mental health class or classes on triggering, like triggers and like how to overcome them. And then we do other classes like grace class, where you talk about things you went through and you share them with people so you don't have to keep them inside of yourself. Yeah, there's a lot of good classes there that helped me share and heal a lot of things that I kept hidden inside myself for a long time. I used to be one of those people that was out on the street late at night walking around, that was probably hungry and needed something to eat. And if I wouldn't have gone to Hope Mission, I don't know. I don't even want to think about that. I don't know where I would be right now.
You can just see the pain, right, that people are going through out there, you know, and again, the rejection, the abandonment, just the issues that people are carrying as they come through our doors at Hope Mission. And it really reminds me of the preventative programs we do, how important they are, how important it is to get out into the low-income neighborhoods and reach out to those families and kids and connect with them in their tough times before, you know, the rejection, the abandonment really settles in. Amazing, again, a story like Val's, it's the reason why we do what we do. You know, and there's so many people we could thank tonight, so many people we want to recognize, but one of those things is our Hope Mission Board. I want to invite our chairman of the Hope Mission Board to come up. We'd like to share with you all the names of our graduation celebrations this year. Congratulations to all our grads. We're so proud of you and how far you've come.
Good evening. My name is Jim Skinner. I've been serving with Hope Mission for about 20 years. At present, I serve in the role of chairman of the Hope Mission Board. On behalf of the board, we want to thank you for your incredible generosity during this past year. The last 14 months have been filled with uncertainty for all of us. When COVID-19 arrived in Alberta, we didn't know what to expect, and we could not have predicted your generosity. So many people gave out of compassion over the last year to make sure that we could still provide meals, shelter, and support to people in need in our province. We have been so touched and blessed by incredible outpouring of support that we received. I would like to recognize and express our gratitude to each of our staff for your efforts to adapt our programs and services to meet the changing needs in the communities we serve. You have had to curtail some programs, adapt others to work within pandemic restrictions, and dream up new programs to meet new needs that have arisen. While you were doing this, there was increased risk to you personally in the midst of the pandemic. So we want to thank you for continuing to serve in these challenging times. You are the front line in living out Hope Mission's strategy of meeting physical needs of people in less fortunate circumstances so we can speak to and they can hear of our common need for God. I hope that the stories tonight have been encouraging to you, that you have seen what an impact your generosity has had on our communities. This is the part of our annual spring banquet where we would normally receive your offerings. If you have been moved by these stories, and if you would like to make a special gift tonight, you can click on the link on the side of your screen, or you can call the number on your screen. There are staff standing by right now to gratefully accept your gift. To all of you, thank you. We are so grateful for your support and for God's faithfulness to us over the year.
Thanks for your support. It's appreciated.
Thank you very much for the donations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, donors.
Yeah, thank you very much so much, and we really appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sponsors.
Thank you.
I love you.
Well, thank you, Jim, and thank you to all of our board members. And for you prayer warriors out there, please remember to keep our board in your prayers. They really do provide the stability and the vision to carry us forward in the future. I hope tonight's been encouraging. I hope you felt some hope yourself. I hope this was uplifting for you. You know, I know when I go out and share the stories of Hope Mission, it really puts a new passion in me. It reminds me of all the things that we're doing and all the things that we're trying to get done. And again, without your support, it would be hard to keep moving forward and expanding those tent pegs and keep reaching out to so many. So we do want to just remind you how grateful we are tonight. You know, for those of you who donate socks, for those of you who have come in and helped in the soup kitchens, for those that have provided bedding, for those of you that pray for us, for those of you that provide donations, you know, we couldn't say enough tonight about how grateful we are. We look forward to celebrating the Hope Mission Spring Banquet again in the future, hopefully in person, where we can share a meal with you and just really provide the blessing of community. Thank you for your prayers, your kind notes, your financial support. Your compassion truly is bringing people hope and making a difference every day. So good night, thanks again, and God bless.